I want to go to yourself first, please, Souls. Of course, everybody's talking about the red card. Should it have happened? Were you robbed? Give us your thoughts and feelings on it, mate.
I mean, firstly, I'm going to say Rice let us down today. And it's plain and simple as that. That's my opinion on the matter. I understand why people are going to go for the referee because they have this idea in their heads that there's a conspiracy against Arsenal. And don't get it twisted, I am against the narrative that, Arsenal create these conspiracies in their heads and the tinfoil hats need to come out. But the reality of the matter is that why is no one talking about the first yellow card? How stupid was that? Was it needed? Did you need to be so reckless? That could have been a red on its own. I'll be honest with you, Partey and Rice today, I don't know what their heads are doing. They have no composure. I don't know what they were doing. The yellow card that Thomas Partey got, again, so unnecessary. These are, when we talk about fine margins, it's not just the goals you concede, it's not just the goals you miss or the chances you miss. It's those moments in a game that then mean you can't make that tackle. You can't make those dark arts work because you're on a yellow card in the first half against a team that's going to press the hell out of you, that's going to be relentless. That means you can't pull them down. That means when there is that one-on-one where you need to make that smart tackle, you can't do it. You're afraid to do that because you decided to get a yellow card in the first 20 minutes of a game that wasn't even needed. João Pedro didn't have the ball. All he was going to do was make a run into the box and you're holding onto his shirt. Why? Then Declan Rice, recklessly, uncontrolled, is making a tackle where the ball is lost. Just keep your composure. Calm the hell down for a moment and understand what's going on. You're a £105 million player. You can be a human being and make a mistake. I am all there for it. But as a £105 million player, you are held to different standards. You are held to perfection. I don't care what anyone says, because if we were to do this with other players like Enzo Fernandez or Caicedo or Lavia or any of these players who cost £100+ million, we'll be saying the same thing. Your standards are different. You were meant to be the leader and the captain of this team. I know it's Martin Odegaard who's got the armband, but he is recognized and been brought in as one of the leaders of this team. And today, I hate this narrative that Arsenal fans cannot blame a player or don't like to point fingers when there is blame to be passed. Today, it was on Declan Rice. But where I am going to say, as a title-challenging team and a team that's supposed to go on to win the league title, where was the composure from the rest of them? I understand the red card happened, but guess what? We were 1-0 up. Where was the composure? Why did the head loss happen? Why did all the Stoke football, long balls, from the back? Thomas Partey as well, he had the ball, looks up, Martinelli, all of them are back, and guess what he does? He goes and just boots it over. It's those finer things in the game that we need to start controlling. Why did Aaron Ramsdale get exiled from this team? Because Raya's a calmer head. So what's happened now? All of those players lost their heads and started booting the ball forward. Now, don't get it twisted. There were moments in that game with Bukayo Saka crossing it into Havertz. Havertz, obviously, the ball he played into Saka is where the fine margins of the striker conversation are going to come back into it. Do we need another attacker? And that's where we feel let down by the club because we've been crying for a more clinical attacker. Whether that's a striker or whether we go get a winger, whatever you wanted to do, we needed a star factor in this team. And today, not only have we been let down in the window by the club with the promises that they've held, we've been let down today. And I know people are going to say, look at this. This is exactly what Arsenal fans do. One result goes against you and you lose your head. All I'm saying is today, please be honest with your assessment and blame the right player. And it's not about saying that Rice is finished and he's dusted and that's it. He's a disgrace. He needs to get out of the club. It just means he is to be blamed today, but we have to move on and we have to reevaluate what we're doing. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's a blessing in disguise that he got sent off because finally Arteta can see this midfield doesn't work. Rice, Partey and Odegaard should not be playing together. They're too similar. There's not enough in this team that creates a dynamic, environment for that midfield to flourish. And that's my opinion on it. When he sees someone like, let's say, Partey, it's just a disgrace. It's so annoying that Mikel Moreno's injured because Partey, Moreno, or Rice, Moreno, Odegaard would have been the perfect midfield to actually see why the Rice Partey doesn't work. But, that's my thoughts on it. I mean, it's a disappointment because we could be coming back to the same way that we were looking at the Fulham game, same way we're looking at the Aston Villa game last season, and we're going to come back to it and go, these are the fine margins that cost us the league. And I understand you can't be invincible. You can't go on to win every single game. You're not going to get 3 points every single week. But these are the games where we can't be costing. Brighton is now a game that we've now been set back from last season. This was a game we won last season, and that's what we needed to keep continuing. And the games like Man City, we draw to them or we get 4 points. No one's going to bat an eyelid. But the only reason people criticize our point at the Etihad was because we went on to lose to Aston Villa. We went on to lose to those certain games and draw those certain games. That meant that the City result meant more. And that's what's going to happen again. If we can't go on to, let's say, beat Spurs and beat Man City, we're going to come back to these draws and go, what happened here?
Dio, I mean, do you agree with what Souls said, that, Rice let you down today and overall the midfield isn't good enough? Like, what's your reflection upon this game, Dio?
I totally don't. I mean, we can focus on the Rice thing and say, okay, well, yeah, Declan Rice did what he did, but footballers do this. So this is part of the game. Footballers stand in front of free kicks all the time. All the time. If there's a throwing, people stand in front of you. In the corner kick, people are pushing the goalkeeper. Are we giving yellow cards for every single thing that people are doing? And again, Rice was backing him at the time when he was standing in front of the ball. The ball was rolling, Rice kicked the ball, and Rice was backing him. It's not like Rice stood in front of him, facing him, trying to stop him from kicking the ball. He backed him, he kicked the ball, he intentionally did it. We all know that. But to give a red card, a second yellow for that, the referee did what he did. I think the referee did not see what happened as regards to facing them. He probably just saw Rice go down and thought, okay, you infringed on the free kick, you're diving, whatever it is, yellow card. It is what it is. But what I want to talk about is the fact that 10 men down, as good as Brighton was against every other team that they played in the first two games, 1 man down, we played 10 men and they could still not beat us. The goal they scored was a rebound. The goal they scored was a rebound. The first one, Raya actually punched it out, but he punched it in the in the line of João Pedro, and he scored it. Fair enough. I cannot blame a player for trying to slow the game down when there's a lot of pressure. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Let's this narrative that we want to. I'm not saying that Rice did not have a fault. He did. But every player does this. João Pedro did it in the first half. There was a throw-in. He kicked the ball out. Why didn't he get a yellow card? He did it in the first half. Why didn't he get a yellow card? There's no consistency to it. And I understand that, okay, well, sometimes referees miss these things. And of course, VAR can't get involved when it comes to, a second yellow. So sadly, there's no telling the referee oh, the ball was still rolling, this happened. All of that is fair enough. I'm just glad that these are the type of games where I was saying again in the stream yesterday where I said, we're not going to win every game. And in the games that it's going to be difficult, like this type of games, we just don't have to lose. Just like last season, the Aston Villa games, don't lose these games. Take a point away and walk away with it. 10 men against the Brighton team that could have literally clapped us 3-1 immediately. This Brighton team could have come back and beat us 3-1 easy without any qualms. But you know what? We did what we needed to do. So it's not a head loss when you're one man short. It's you hoofing the ball over to give yourself breathing space and restructuring yourself because you're one man short is not head loss. You can't play through 11 men with 10 men and they're that good as well. They're not a Ipswich and they're not a Sunday league team. These guys are professional players too. They're not there selling ice cream on the pitch. These guys are trying to beat you. So
can I ask you?
So the standards are the same, though. We can't now sit there and go, Brighton are a good team like we're a shit team.
I'm not saying we're a shit team. I'm saying we're 10 men. Well, 1 man down. We're playing 10 men. We have to be smart.
Can I ask you a question about the goal you conceded, Dio? Do you think that Gabriel should have done better in his challenge? Could he have done better in that moment?
He should have done better in that moment, but because you're 1 man down again, that's a position where Declan Rice could have come to help in that middle of the pack. So Gabriel and Saliba would not have been that split. Hold on, because Declan, we know he's an 8, but at least him coming back to help defend. Whenever we shape up to defend, if we have our 11 players on the pitch, Declan would have been in and around that position. Somebody would have been able to clear it. Being 1 man down means that your defenders cannot just stay in the same. Of course, proximity is great. You need to be able to be tight, but you're going to leave space again on the left with nobody on that side. So them opening up that much, sadly, was going to happen. But it's a difficult position to be when you have a plan and something changes. Now you need to rework yourself with the 10 players and figure out exactly how to defend against the Brighton team that can also play. I'm not saying we're a shit team, but it took that red card to give Brighton a real sniff of what the game was about. In the first 24 minutes, hold on. In the first 24 minutes, Brighton did nothing. Brighton was not able
true.
to do nothing in the first one. They were neutralized. Hold on, they were neutralized for 24 minutes. They had a 5-minute spell. We came back. We continued. Kai Havertz scored. No. You want to go back and look at the breakdown? I took my notes. I watched the entire thing. Right? They did not have anything tangible that they really, really did as regards to like really threatening Arsenal until that red card. And fair enough, hey, it is what it is. A quick free kick. You knew that he was going to block the ball. You want to take a quick free kick. He's on a yellow card. Referee gives him a second yellow to red. It is what it is. I'm not going to blame the referee, and I'm not going to blame Rice for trying to slow
me?
down.
Who are you going to
blame?
You're not going to blame the referee for that performance?
Listen, no. Listen, I'm not going to blame the referee because here's the thing. Like I said, Rice was backing the player. Referee from what I could see, referee wasn't looking. What the referee saw was Rice going down and holding. So he thought it was initially a dive. That's what he probably thought it was. Now it's shit refereeing. It's bad refereeing. He got it wrong. It is terrible. My point is we go down one man, and at the end of the game, we come out with a point. If we had lost that game, I would be more pissed that so we still could not defend. The substitution that Arteta made. Hold on, the substitution that Arteta made, I think, were perfect substitutions. Eventually, bringing in a player who at least can run with the ball if we get the chance to counter, which was Martinelli. Bringing in Calafiori, playing 5 men at the back, and just figuring out how to contain.
Can I say something?
Hold on. Hold on. Mo. Give me a chance. I'm not gonna.
Let me just, guys.
Let me just say one thing,
Mo. Let me go to Saad, then I'm gonna come to you.
I want to ask Dio a question, if I'm allowed. Dio spoke for about 8 minutes, guys. He hasn't said one negative point about today. Not one. Guys, he praised everything in the game. He haven't criticized his team or his manager or anybody once. I love the positivity, Dio, but sometimes you'll have to be with us on the ground and see that it doesn't matter if it's right or not. You drop 2 points out, Habibi. You drop 2 points home. And my question is very simple. You haven't seen any negatives today. Nothing.
Oh no, I just what was the first thing that I said? What was the first thing that I said?
You said many things. So
exactly.
I can't remember because you said many things, bro.
Okay, so you can't remember
about 10 minutes.
No, Mo. The first thing he said, the first thing he said was, "Why are we all looking at this as 2 points dropped? This is a point gained because we."
I never used those words. I never said that. What I said is, the first thing I said.
Soliloquy. That was
David. That's
why we all looking at
what I
this.
said. What I said, David. Again. David. What I said again was, with one man down, the fact that we did not lose the game, I am happy about that. Yeah. What is
same
wrong?
difference?
Hold on. So what were you expecting with one man down? You're gonna sit here and say, okay,
win the game at home. Win the game at home.
Yeah, Mo. Win the game
at home. You aren't
home.
playing against Manchester City. Win the game at home.
Win the game at home with one man down and a shit decision that was made by a referee that we can all sit here and track.
Forget the decision.
Hold on.
How can you forget the decision? That cost us the game.
Because the decision was correct.
It's part of the game. I'm not saying it
was 100% correct.
But that's my point.
You guys are absolutely cool.
It wasn't consistent, though. It wasn't consistent.
Don't include me in that.
Why did João Pedro get a yellow card for doing the same thing?
Guys, everyone's talking at the same time. Mo's made a point there. Mo, you think Arsenal fans have got nothing to complain about when it comes to the red card today?
Oh, yeah, of course not. As an individual decision, 100%. Forget delaying the play. The ball was rolling. He kicked the ball. When the free kick is given, you do not kick the ball away. This is a given.
He kicked the ball off Declan Rice's heel. Did you see the actual whole clip? I've seen it 100 times. He kicked the ball off Declan Rice's heel. And then
what is he talking about now?
Go watch it back. He kicks the ball off of Declan Rice's heel before.
Who did what?
He kicked the ball off Declan Rice's heel. The ball then goes in defense.
Guys, I'm gonna play. If you guys all calm down a second, I'm gonna play the little clip. Just we're gonna play it.
No, this is.
See,
there's other photos. Kick it.
What are you talking about?
Igal.
I'm kind of heated
right
now.
Go on, Igal. Explain your point. Explain your points. We understand, Igal.
He kicked the ball off Veltman's heel. Veltman kicked the ball off of Declan Rice's heel. as he's standing up, trying to get the ball ready to clear it. The ball was still
Right
moving
foot doing.
after it hit Declan Rice's heel. Declan Rice is not facing the player. He's walking away. Last time he checked, the player was sitting down. He doesn't even know the player standing up ready to kick it. He sees the ball rolling next to him after it hit his heel. Natural thing to do is just to move it out of your way. I don't think there's anything that he did wrong. There's nothing that he did wrong. What's wrong is a player gets violently kicked in the back of his leg, and the referee does nothing. Last week, a player gets choked by a defender, does nothing. Consistently, this is happening. It's a joke. Honestly, it's a joke. The referee today, what's his name? Chris Kavanagh, was an absolute disgrace. He absolutely had no idea what the hell was going on. He had no idea what was going on. And in my opinion, that moment cost us massively, because from that moment, we were not switched on. We should have done better defensively for the goal that we conceded. I hear that. From there on, we did our best. But that going down to 10 men really cost us. And now he's going to be out in the North London derby also. The referee today, Chris Kavanagh, needs to really, really reevaluate himself. You cannot be giving second yellows for those kind of situations. You need to actually get other people's input also and look at it. Can you not make a change after you give a second yellow for something that's not accurate?
Against the rules. You can't have a VAR.
So what are we going to do now? You can't even appeal a second yellow.
You can't have VAR.
We are constantly getting punished for situations where referees are making mistakes in the Premier League, in the best league in the world.
It's not we, everyone is.
And finally, to everyone who's saying we should win the game, you know what? We had an opportunity to win the game. We didn't capitalize. We couldn't score a goal. I'm not going to say we didn't.
This is why we need a striker,
right? But we still got out of there with the point. This 1 point at the end of the day, come the end of the season, could be the difference between winning the league or losing it. So I don't want to hear this thing, oh, it's a bad point. At the end of the day, we got the point. That's all that matters.